Hey, what's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture. I want to do a quick technical analysis on Litecoin. And I use the term technical analysis very lightly, simply because I always like to preface the fact that anything can happen. So, with that being said, I think there are good patterns to keep an eye on and use as, kind of a foundation, and also just for some perspective on what the markets are doing, right? And I think patterns are important, especially, if not only are you holding a coin long term, but if you're trying to trade, I think it's definitely important to use patterns and trends. So anyway, let's look at this chart real quick. I guess as a foundational point of this video, you can look at this trend line stemming from, what is this, the 9th. Obviously, you see on the 8th of December, Litecoin kind of started to do its thing and it started moving. So we have this trend line that kind of has built a pattern. And you can see trading has bounced off that trend line a few different times. So we can use that as, I guess, a foundation. We can use it for context. And right now I have the 4-hour chart open. And that's kind of what I want to look at right now, simply because we have a few things going on. I'm going to do my best to use a brush here with this trackpad on my Mac. I need to get a mouse, but so let's look at this support line right here. We have, it's shown support there. It's shown support here, some resistance here. And right now we're at kind of a crucial area. That's kind of why I wanted to do this video, just because it's built some foundational pivot points on this line, and it's kind of like what's going to happen next. And that's kind of why I think if you are going to keep an eye on Litecoin right now for trading reasons, I think now is today, tomorrow is probably a good time to do so, because we want to see what happens next. Now, keep in mind, we're on a 4-hour chart. So with that being said, there's a couple of things I want to look at. I want to look at the moving average. You can see the moving average bands. What I like is the fact that you can see them starting to consolidate. And I think that's a good thing. It basically means it looks like we're getting ready for a move up or down, and hopefully the move is up. And the other thing I really want to look at is if you look at the stock RSI at the bottom here, we look to be a little oversold, which is a good sign with that consolidation of those moving average bands. So what I would like to see is obviously follow this trend and bounce off this this trend line, and go up. Now, if it does do that, the next thing to keep an eye on would be, the next line of resistance that we see here, right around 300, right around here, 300. And the reason why we're really looking at that is not only just because we see that line on the chart, but it's a mental barrier for the market. 300. It's something that Litecoin hopefully will break through soon and stay above 300, but we haven't really seen it do that yet. So we're curious to see what happens once it bounces off this trend line. Now, the question is when and if it will bounce off this trend line, because we're on a 4-hour chart. And if you zoom in, and this is something I wanted to hit on real quick, on the 1 hour, you'll see that it looks to be a little overbought on the stock RSI. And I guess what I want to say is right now, even let's go in on the 5-minute, anything can happen here. As we look to see what's going to happen in this area. So if right now you're looking at, the 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, you might see fluctuations. You might see it all of a sudden drop, 5% or so. And this is kind of when I see a lot of people that are watching this and updating charts like every hour, minute by minute, and they kind of stress themselves out because I think it's important to look more at the 4-hour to see what happens here in this move, just because there's going to be ups and downs of 5%, 10%, with Litecoin, with any coin, in a matter of minutes. It just happens. Like right now, we can just swing right down to 250, and it can happen within 10 minutes. So a lot of people are looking at that, and they're looking at it and they're stressing out. Why isn't this going up? And I would advise against that, especially if you're a long-term holder. Now, if you're trading this and you're swing trading, and it might be stressful because you might have some stop losses at 5 to 10%. But what I'm saying is, I think it's important to focus on the 4 hour. So anyway, January 8th, it's, like I said, 3 Eastern. Let's see what happens here in the next day or so. Between actually the next 24 hours, I'd be curious just to see what kind of moves Litecoin takes. So keep an eye on it. I just want to do this quick video. Remember, just trade safely, trade carefully. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose, and have some fun with it. Don't stress yourself out. Thank you. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.